Sorry about that. Yeah. So today I wanted to show you guys how to use artificial intelligence, AI, things like CG Copilot, oh, not CG Copilot, just Copilot to start enhancing your work, start utilizing it because this is the future. We can't escape this, and you're going to start having to learn how to do some of these prompts and generate images that you can use for your 3D models as well. Because the future is going towards it. I'm already using it at my current day job to generate ideas and then using that as kind of like a mashup to kind of make our process a little quicker. So I wanted to show you guys how to start utilizing some of this technology for yourselves so that you can be where the game is currently as well. So today, this is Copilot. It's available through Bing, Microsoft. I think they bought it out. So it usually comes with your computer. If you have got Microsoft, it's right here. They started installing it if you have like one of the latest OSs. So if you look, oh, you can't see that right now. But yeah, it's there. There's a little button on the side here. I can click it. If I click it, it brings up my Copilot. All right. So that is Copilot in a nutshell. It's pretty straightforward. So what I want to do is start using this to kind of prompt to generate maybe some weapon designs for our character. You remember that we have a character kind of like this, right? So we wanted to make a weapon for him. Um, and I wanted to kind of generate some ideas on how to, what kind of weapon he would use. So I'm going to go weapon ideas. I kind of want him to maybe have a staff.
I was also sitting there thinking staff might look
Maybe,
good in his
maybe,
hands.
yeah, maybe a staff with a maybe trident or spear. And let's see, let's see, let's do maybe some cybernetics with it. I put cybernetics. That's a different kind of netics. Cybernetics. Maybe some sort of technology. Um, let's see what that generates for us. All right. So let's see. Let's do images instead. I'm gonna copy this and then let's do images. I think. Okay, is it designer? Oh, here we go. Boom. All right. Let's see what we got. These are very interesting. Oh wow. So there's a lot of stuff you can do to some of these images. Let me go back. Hmm. Very interesting. This one's cool. Let's make it a little bigger. Let's see. I think this may be a new model for it too. Oops. It takes a little while to generate, so let me refresh this. Let's do weapon design, staff, trident. Okay. It's gonna take a second. I'm gonna put there we go. All right, let's see. So it's generating some interesting 3D ideas. Okay. These are kind of cool. I almost like this idea of it being almost like a staff with like a circle spear kind of thing around it. Like that idea isn't bad, right? Like I don't mind something like that, right? So that's not bad. So what I'll do is if I like some of these, I don't like this one. This one's too Fantasia-y, and so is this one. But I like this guy, right? I like this idea. I don't know if I like the see, this is what I'm talking about right here. Something kind of like this circular one that gives you a little bit of that. So I'll download this one as well. So I'm definitely digging this idea. All right. So let's maybe do a circular trident. All right. So now you're refining some of your, you know, some of your ideas if as you're going along, right? That's the purpose of some of this stuff. It's not just to, steal this, because what I'm going to do is whenever I'm done, I'm going to take a few of them and then use that to, you know, ooh, see, that's what I'm talking about right here. Something like this, right? But a little better integrated um, into our model. So stuff like this is what I like, because I feel like ooh, this is interesting. Oh my god, this would be so dangerous. This is a painful weapon. This is a very painful weapon. This is another reimagining of it, though. I don't mind this reimagining. All right. So it's giving me really good ideas. All right. I'm just going to download a few of them. And as usual, I'm going to make myself a pure ref board out of the stuff I've gotten. So here we go. So this is good enough for now. And you guys can definitely try this out yourselves. Right. I'm going to, paste a link to this in the chat for you guys to kind of start trying out your own and kind of seeing what you can create. All right. So that is AI. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. If anything tells you to pay, do not use it. Don't do it, right? Because this isn't something that you should be paying for at all, in the least bit, right? The technology is so abundant right now. If you're having to pay for it, it's kind of ridiculous, you know. So, yeah. Let us continue. All right, so now that we have our I'm gonna go and start my pure ref board with all my new reference here. Right, the thing is, like, I may not be the best concept guy, but looking at some of these design, it starts to generate some ideas in me that, like, okay, right, like these are interesting, and even some of these hilts. All right. So now let's jump back into ZBrush and then make our accessory. So we've got our character here. I'm actually not gonna use this. I'm not gonna use this guy, right? I'm going to actually create it in another one so I can show you guys how to append a subtool to your um, scene. So we're gonna make it in another scene, and then we're gonna bring it back into here. All right. Do some housekeeping first. Make sure everything is. All right, so now I'm gonna do a cylinder. All right, I'm just gonna select this cylinder right over here, and I'm gonna draw a cylinder holding shift down like so. All right, so the cool thing about when you first create geometry is, right, there is an instancing that you can get, right? When you first start it, it allows you to change some of the parameters of it when it's one of these primary ZBrush objects. All right. So right now it looks black. Let me make it get back to our original color. Let's go to subtool. All right. All right. I gotta finish my. Because the thing is, if you don't make these changes and you collapse it or you make it a poly mesh 3D, it's gonna look just like this. But what I want to do is I can go in here and whoops, there you go. I can start to affect. Let's do this. Make polymesh 3D. Oops. Okay. Make polymesh 3D. All right. Edit. All right, I'm gonna go into my right. So now I can increase the size, right? X. I can make it longer, right? So this is good because now I can start to increase or decrease the size of the cylinder. I can still affect it in different ways without having to like sculpt on it or anything, right? So it's still a primary. It's still a base mesh right here, right now. All right. So let's see. That's the position. That's the size. Let's go to size. Let's go to size. I'm gonna reduce it a little bit because I think it needs to just, all right, be a staff kind of like that. All right, so now we've got essentially the base of our staff right here. All right, now if I go into my subtool, what I'm going to do is I'm going to append, right? I'm going to append a ring, right? I've appended my ring right there. All right, now I'm going to move my ring all the way up here. I'm going to rotate this way. All right, a 90-degree turn. Now I'm gonna see if I've got my geometry settings here. Right, this is the back, this is the front. So what I want to do is I want to turn. Well, this is the front. All right, this is the front. All right, this is correct. So now what I want to do is that size. Let's move it right here. Just gonna try to move it to the center of our. Okay. Might flatten it a little bit. right. So I've got a basic cylinder here. So the cool thing about these is, let me see, it's now. Let's see if I can. Here's a better one. Okay. For the spikes, I might append a cone, but I'm trying to think of what base shapes I might need. I might append another cylinder for some of this design work that it's got going here. So let's append something else. Let's append another sphere. All right, it's gonna appear on the bottom like that. Actually, I'm gonna move this guy over a little bit. So he's in the center. All right, so now this is gonna be our base. All right, so normally when you want to, usually when you want to scale something up, you just do this, right? And then you can, if you alt, you know, squeeze like that. But the other alternative, like I was trying to show you, is you can go in here into your geometry, right? And then this is how you can also do that same thing. All right. If you want more fine tune, kind of precise. All right. So I'm gonna maybe scale it down a little bit. All right. And the cool thing about this is, all right, let's go front. Oops. I can just then duplicate this and then just pull it up like so. Oops. See this one, and I can pull it up. And then let's see this guy. So we've got kind of a decent base for our model so far. So I'm just gonna move this guy a little bit over, like so. All right. So now I want to teach you guys a little something about something called radial symmetry. So I kind of like this. Maybe, I think like this a little more. And then I might do kind of like an end piece. All right, let's duplicate this one more time. I'm just gonna, just like that. All right. So it's gonna be like bottom, handle, and then like the top kind of piece. All right. So now let's start doing a little bit of creation on this guy. Let's move this guy a little bit over. Kind of like that a lot. All right, I'm digging that. So let me show you guys what an array mesh is, right? So let me show you guys how to array geometry and detail on a mesh. So if I hit X on my keyboard, I get symmetry. But there's also something that you can use on here called radial symmetry. And I feel like I've showed it to you guys before, but I want to show it to you guys again. So with radial symmetry, if I turn on my radial symmetry using the R key, now I've got, okay, let me show it to you better then. I've got it on, is it what? Nope, it needs to be on the Z. So that's the radius of the symmetry, but for some reason it's not. Oh, okay, it might be because, let's go back to the origin. Let's see. No. All I did was I undid. I went back all the way in time just to see if that's what was affecting it. All right, this is how I'm troubleshooting. All right, if you run into an issue and you don't know what's going on, you can quickly scrub. If you still have your undos, quickly scrub back, look what's going on, and then it's like a timeline. You can play back. All right, this is where it messed up. It didn't mess up here. All right, so I'm gonna go back one step where I didn't make any of these crazy marks when I was testing. All right. So transform. Let's use my posable symmetry. Maybe that'll give us something. Let's not mirror the symmetry then. That's not use. Transform. All right. So like usually X. Whoa. Yeah, for some reason my symmetry isn't. I think it's because the object itself, I think the center pivot might be off. So that's why I'm getting that issue. But that's fine. That's no biggie. Let's just do X. Transform. Let's turn off our radial symmetry. Let's do symmetry. Everything I want to do, I can do it with regular symmetry. It would just been easier with the symmetry, because what I want to do is I want to show you guys how to, like, if I wanted to sharpen this up or something, I wanted to show you guys how to do that. So I'll just show you how to do it with just regular symmetry. It's divided a couple times, and I'm gonna go B C B, and then there we go. B P. Oh, it's a B F flatten. There we go. BP planar. It's way too strong. Let's reduce it. Just trying to make kind of like no B. Let's turn on my lazy mouse so my stroke doesn't look so ridiculous. I'm gonna start up here, just like that. Alright. So now let's at least try to use the lazy mouse function. I'm gonna go to my stroke, lazy mouse. I'm gonna increase my steps, my radius, and then my smoothing. So it's as smooth as possible. Oops, no. Stroke. Let's reduce the steps. go. I'm just holding down shift to smooth it out, and I'm gonna do this similar move to the outside. Okay, let's do it. Go to my deformations. Okay. Polish crisp edges a little bit. Shift to smooth some of this out. All right, BDS. Let's do a little more flattening. It's kind of this area right here. Right, and normally, like, if you know how to use like a 3D modeling program, you would just go in there, kind of model like a base, and then you would come into a ZBrush to kind of texture it, or to kind of throw on some finishing touches. So right now I'm just kind of flattening those edges out. I'm trying to go for like more of like a stylized look, because our character kind of has that kind of stylized look to him. So I'm just gonna flatten this a little bit, and it doesn't have to be perfect now, because you know this is like the beginning stages of it. So I'm just kind of going in a little bit, showing a little bit of love to it right now. All right, so now if I go BDS, I pressed BDS for my Damien standard. It's a little high, right? I might want to, there you go, let's do L. It's way too high still. No, that's way too low now. All right. So you want to, okay, let's do L. All right. And the reason I'm doing it this way is, let's do BP. Let's do the planar. Is because I wanted to kind of have more of a worn, you know, like a beaten, like it was beaten that way, not like it's like super manufactured. I want to have it look more organic. So I'll show you why what this does to it. So let's reduce this a little bit more. All right. Oh, it's still too much. Let's do a little bit like so. And what that's doing is it's making this angle way more planar than it already was. So I'm flattening that edge. All right, smooth it out a little bit. I'm gonna do that same thing over here on the outside here. All right. Just making it a little more planar. All right. All right, because now what I want to do is I want to start pulling and pushing some of this. So I'm going to go BMV. All right, let's give it some of these trident-like qualities that we wanted. Okay, that one's kind of got like that, and then it's got like some that come down like so. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Autosave messed me up. Stupid autosave. Alright, so now, boom, a couple that go this way. Boom. Alright, something a little more menacing. Right? Once you start adding angles to things, it starts to get a little more menacing looking, a little more gnarly. All right. Ooh, maybe something like that. All right. So this is where ideation and things like that come in. So maybe there's a connection right there. Something like that. Right. The thing is like the reason I'm doing all this is because I'm gonna still retopologize it. Right. I'm still gonna retopologize it. So I'm just kind of going with this is me trying to figure out what's going on in here. So maybe I want to add. Yeah, let's make this a little more organic. I'm gonna smooth this out a little bit. Right. Maybe something like that. There we go. They kind of converge. All right. So now I might go BCB. Maybe reduce this a little bit. Maybe make it more like his nails or something. Kind of adding that motif to it a little bit. There you go. All right. So now I might go back to my BDS. Yeah, there we go. My Damien standard brush, right? And then I might do the same thing where I'm using this kind of like as those, like blade points, right? Trying to sharpen it up, trying to make it look oh, I did it on the wrong side. Sorry. Smooth this side out a little bit, and then you're going to bring that, kind of make it look like steel or some sort of BPL. And then, you know, start making it plainer. All right, let's see what happens when we retopologize this. Let's go to our retopology. We're going to go to our Z remesher. We're going to just do a base Z remesh on this bad boy and see what we get. All right, it's not bad. All right, it's not bad. It's not bad. That's not bad. All right, another thing is I want to append something for this centerpiece. It looks a little weird right now, so I might just append, let's append another cylinder or something. So I'm going to append, click append right there, find the object I want to append to it, and I'm going to maybe circle 3D. All right. Does this circle have any thickness? Let's find out. Because if it doesn't have any thickness, I don't want to use it. If it's just like a thin, plain, if I can't make it. So let's do size. Okay. Not you. Alright. So here, let's go F. Q sphere. I don't know why I just did a symmetry operation on that, but that's not what I wanted to do. What I was trying to do is initialize this, but I don't think it has any thickness. So I'm not going to use that one. I'm just going to append a cylinder 3D. All right, And then I'm just going to turn this guy like so. My front view, shift. When I hold down shift, it snaps to the angles. So I'm just going to boom like so. And then I'm going to bring it up here. Scale. All right. And now, just going to make sure that my scale covers what it needs to cover. All right. So this little circle thing in the center. All right. See what happens when I do initialize on this one. Okay. Let's turn on the wireframe. Right, in this center, like I would maybe throw like, if I was doing it for, I'd maybe throw like a sculpt of something in here, like a skull or something gnarly in the middle of it. But for this, we can just do something simple, right? I'm gonna divide it twice. I'm gonna maybe do something like this, just to get a little bit of detail in here. I'm just gonna do something like this. There we go. Actually, let's do X. All right. So here's another cool thing about. So I'm gonna go into my deformations here, right? I'm gonna turn it to the angle so you guys can see what's going on here. So what I can do is the stuff that's masked, I can do some interesting operations to them. Right? I can either inflate, deflate, right? Inflate it like a balloon, right? So there's a few things I can do to it. So what I'm gonna do to this guy actually is I'm just gonna do it in actually do the opposite. Alright. Alright, the cool thing now is I can do that. And then I'm gonna do that again here. Alright, I'm gonna do boom, like so. And I'm just gonna do the opposite. Alright, just a quick. Alright. A little detail. BCB. Maybe start I might cut across like this and do one like this. Alright. Then what I can do with this is I'm gonna then use this like as an extract mesh or something. Right? So I'm gonna go to my extract, boom, like so. Right, and I'm gonna extract it and see what I get. It's way too thick. Right, let's reduce the thickness quite a bit, and then let's extract now. Accept that. That looks cool. All right. So now you guys see, the process is pretty standard, right? You're adding pieces. You're using the pieces that you have to create other pieces. So I can then take this piece right here, right, and I can start, building stuff into it. Start adding more things that I see that I want in there. All right. I'm just adding little subtle details to it. There's not, right now this is kind of, let me go geometry here. All right. I'm going to clear that out. And then maybe I can do let's do geometry. Let's Z remesh it first, right? Because the geometry is kind of funky because it just extracted it using that same mesh. So you're gonna fix that. So let's look at our new polys. That's not bad. Maybe smooth this bad boy out a little bit. All right. All right. So now I know that guy's a little cleaner than he was before. All right. So these, I'm just adding detail slowly. So now maybe I want to go to this hilt guy, right? I might do some masking. All I'm doing is holding down control, right? Boom, like so, like so, like so, like so. Let's do three of them. One, two, three. Let's do this one, boom, like that. And then, right, the same thing, the same process. I'm gonna go to my deformation. I'm actually gonna invert that, and then maybe I can either increase it or boom, like so. All right. So now I've got like a little bit of a hilt design. All right, nothing too fancy yet. All right. So now if I want to add a little bit more of that gothic-y kind of feel, right, that we have in our designs here, right? I can then start going to BMV, use the move tool, turn on my symmetry. Let's go to tool, transform. It's on the Y, no, transform, Z axis. All right, so it's on the Z. I'm just gonna, all right, we're starting to, might start to smooth this out. Actually, maybe if I do a relax, let's see what that does. Ooh, that's not bad. It's not bad. All right. All right, and this is I haven't done any like detailing. I'm not thinking about any kind of I'm just doing forms right now, trying to see what looks cool, what doesn't. All right, maybe something like that. This guy's got, some sort of. I think these would be cool. Like another one, just another little flare out of them, of that same kind of thing. All right. And the reason I like I told you guys, I like to stretch out this geometry a little bit, right? BCB, maybe create like another little, oops, it's too much. It's on 20, reduce that a little bit, right? And just for your information, I've been sculpting all of this with just a mouse, right, and the keyboard. I'm not even using my Wacom, right? The Wacom's right next to me, but I'm just taking it as far as I can go. This is an act of cruelty, for real, but, now maybe I can, what happens if I polish it? No, let's do a small relax on it. Before I do that, let's go geometry. I'm gonna Z remesh it again. All right. So now this is giving me new, much more accurate geo to what I've got. And I'm gonna go back BDS, Damien Standard Tool. Right now I can make these guys look sharp by adding those kind of like razor-like kind of points to them. All right, guys, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. You gotta kind of just, you gotta work it. You gotta work it. So now I'm just adding a little bit more detail, right? Some of these are like happy accidents in the sense that like, ooh, I like that the way that kind of fell into place. So now, let's go with it. Oops. Down the center, right down the center. All right. As you guys can see, right, it's not always smooth sailing. You gotta learn to be able to, deal with adversity. So maybe, boom, give these kind of like an angular side, and then, boom. All right. BP. So let's Start doing some planar angles. Turn off the BP. It's polished. Some of this stuff. Shift smooth. Actually, BDS. Boom. All right. I'm starting to define a little bit more. All right. Remember, you want to take it as far as you can possibly go at these low subdivisions before you start moving on. Right? Don't go any further until you've got enough detail that you're pushing, you've pushed it so much that it's like, all right, you got to go up. So let's do it here for these. I'm gonna just kind of push those in. Let's do that same for this. I'm kind of carving, right? Like I'm kind of carving, right? Carving these guys back into the shape. All right. So this is just a base for our accessory. Right, we've got a good base started. It's already 12:55 here, so we're gonna wrap this one up for today. This is our current spear. We're gonna update the rest of it next class and finish it out. Right, and I think once we're done with the accessories for the guy, we've got all his stuff. We can poly paint him. Um, then pose, and then I'll show you how to present, and that's pretty much the class. That's pretty much 3D modeling in a nutshell, right? Like you model based stuff, you take it a little further, then you texture it, you pose it, and then you render it, right? There's a whole nother process if you want to get it in game, moving, and all that stuff, right? So these are the processes that it takes, and it takes so long to sometimes get all of this knowledge that people give up, halfway through or before they really reach gold. All right, so there's a lot of people who gave up 6 feet from gold. That's like a saying from the panhandling time. So you don't want to give up before you get to that destination. So I know it can be tough, I know it can be challenging, right? But it's important for you guys to try to persevere and try to keep trying at it, failing, right? And keep messing stuff up, right? As you guys can see, I mess stuff up all the time, and I do this professionally for a living, right? So don't feel like professionals don't mess up or they don't have struggles, right? Your job is literally to solve problems. Problems are going to arise when you're working, and your job is to find solutions to those problems. Your job isn't to, it's good to know a lot of stuff, but you're not going to know everything. And a lot of your job is going to be something broke. How did we fix it? Or we have this issue that we've never run into. Can I, is there a new way I can think about it? Is there something somebody else knows? Do I need to do more research? Like what your job is, a lot of your job is problem solving, and you get paid in proportion to the amount or the scale of the problem that you solve. So if you want to make a lot of money in this world, solve big problems. Solve problems for people that they didn't know they needed to be solved, and people will reward you handedly. All right. So that is today's class. You have seen me pretty much model a high poly character for most of the class. Hopefully you guys are following along and understanding a little bit. I know a lot of it can be a foreign language sometimes, and it's going to be a foreign language until you start doing it yourself. So without further ado, do you have any questions for me before I let you guys go today?
No, sir.
All right, no, all right, cool, man. Well, it was nice having you here today. Appreciate you pulling up on me, bruh. I will see you on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one, brother.
You too.